So let's create a particle simulation in Blender. And this is the node tree for quick reference. Now we have the starting scene in Blender and we won't delete the cube. Let's go to geometry nodes instead. And let's merge these sections so that we have a little bit more space. We will click on new and we have the group input and the group output nodes. And the first thing that we will add is um, mesh to volume. So we have the mesh to volume and we still have our cube. It just looks a little bit different. And this is how we show volume in Blender. And after this, the next node is distribute points in volume. Now, in a previous video, we have used the node distribute points in faces that basically scatter some points in our faces of the cube. And the distribute points in volume is very similar. It just scatters some volume in the volume our cube occupies. But to use it, we have to convert our mesh or whatever we have into a volume. And now we see that the points are too low in number. And that is because the size of our cube is small. So we have to increase the size of our cube. Now we don't want to increase the size like the original cube. So what we can do is we can simply add a cube as a mesh primitive in our geometry node, and there we can increase the size. And why do we want to do this? Because in geometry nodes, everything is procedural, and it will be a little easier to maintain and change the values if we want to. So we will connect it like this, and we have only 1 point right now, but yeah, it will increase. So let's increase the size from 1 to 5, and we have a lot of points. And we may be having too many points. So what we can do is we can decrease the density to zero point 0.5. Yeah, now it looks better. I think so. But these are just points. So in our camera, if we render, it will not capture. So let's try to render it. And yeah, it will capture, but the thing is, it will not be ideal. So what we can do simply is in our points, we can just add something, maybe a monkey, maybe a sphere, maybe a cube, whatever, so that it looks a little bit better. So what we can do for that? So right now what we have is we initially had a mesh, which is a cube, that became a volume, then that became a point. And then we will use a very common node, and it's called instance on point. And everything will be gone for now because these are just instances and we have to add an instance. So in our instance, let's add an ecosphere. Ecosphere. Yeah. And we have many large ecospheres. So let's decrease the radius to maybe 0.02. Yeah. Now this looks like points. We can maybe increase the subdivision to 2. And let's also add a shade smooth. Shade smooth. Yeah. Now, what we have to do is we have to change their position. So, and that is how we can animate them. So, what is their current position? That is what we need to find. And to change their position, basically, what we have to do is we have to do a set position here. And if we change the position of everything will change. So, how can we manage this? So, here we are basically joining one instance. And here we have all the instances. So, set position, if we change anything here, it will basically change everything. So, what we have to do is basically take the set position before our instance. So, set position, we'll take it here. And we have the offset. In the offset, we want to add a noise texture so that everything moves by noise. So here, let me add a noise texture. And now, if I change it from 3D to 4D, we will have something called a W, and that will basically change the seed value. And this is how we can do the particle animation. So it is already moving. Maybe we can increase the radius a little bit to 0.03, maybe. Or I think for now, 0.05 is also fine. So our particles will move like this. It looks too small, the movement. So what we can do is we can add a vector math. And in the vector math, we can just add it in between. Let's change it to multiply. And let's multiply everything by 5. Let's grab everything and 5. I will change the position a little bit. We can fix it using the subtract, but I think for this video, it is an overkill. So let's keep it as it is. And now if I change the W, the displacement is much, much higher. So this is fine for now. And maybe we can little bit adjust the scale and detail whatever it's not really required. So this is how we can have the animation. So we just have to adjust our camera this time. So let's change the camera and let's bring it here. And this is how we can do the animation. Maybe here. Now, lastly, let's try to set some materials and some shaders for this one. So what we will do is we will do a set material here, and here we will add this material. Now we will select everything and we will go to our shading. And in the shading, what we want to do is basically we want to give some emission. So let's give an emission of 10. And let's change the color to little bit bluish. This is not bluish. I'm forgetting the exact name. But yeah, whatever it is. Now, lastly, what we want to do is we want to add a cube. Let's increase the size of the cube, and in the basically object section, there is something called viewport display, and here we can change the display from texture to bounds. Now, what we want to do with this cube? Yeah, I will show you soon. So let's adjust the cube in such a way that everything is inside, all the points, everything. I think this is fine for now. Maybe a little bit. Let's change the X to here and Y everything. I think everything is inside. Yeah, looks like that. So now what we want to do here is basically let's go to our render mode. Now we are inside. What we want to do is we'll take the cube, we'll go to the shading, and let's click on new. Now we'll remove the principal BSDF. If I just bring the camera here, what we can do is we will do a volume scatter. We will attach the volume with a volume. And here we can adjust the isotropy and anisotropy values. And we can also adjust the density. So if we increase the density, um, it will become more airy. So we will not be able to look at our particles. And otherwise it will look, so I think something like this looks good. So now what we can do is let's take a look at a render image, and this is how it looks like. We can maybe adjust the dimensions of our individual spheres and whatever. But yeah, this kind of looks fine for me. I mean, in short, now we can render it, but how it will look like, we can just take a look at it. So it is like this. Let's make it to normal mode. Yeah, one more thing is we can also check with cycles. So let's change it to cycles. Max sample, let's take it 4 and denoise. Yeah, I think this looks much, much better. Yeah, actually this looks good. Let's make it 16 and let's render our image and let's see once. It will take some time. Yeah, I think this looks fantastic in my opinion. And more important to note is this will animate. So, okay, so we have not yet done the animation, so let's do it quickly. So we'll go to geometry nodes once again, and let's bring back our animation player. We will do 80 frames only. And here the initial value is 5.3 or whatever, that is fine. And in frame number 80, let's change it to 6. We won't overdo it. So high. And now let's see how much it moves. So how it works basically. So this is what we have. Okay, we'll go to layout. This is what we have, and yeah, yeah, I think so. It looks very good. So that's it for this video, folks. And if you have learned something new in this video, make sure to like, share, and subscribe so that I can grow my channel fast. And I will see you soon with another very interesting video. So see ya.